took off the old gasket and I went ahead and picked up some of this off of Amazon. This one does seem a little bit too thick, but this is the second one that I've ordered. And I'm just gonna go ahead with this one. It should squish down enough to where this fits back in the car. I'm probably gonna open up a Amazon storefront with all the little items that I purchase off Amazon, so I'll probably have that link down below. If not, just search a foam gasket for like AC and just find whichever size you need. Welcome back to the channel. I'm like 2 weeks behind on videos. I'm filming the wiring for the Civic, but I needed a couple parts and I was struggling to try to figure out the whole radiator situation. But I want to upload a very good video on how to wire it for my exact set. I want to make it as detailed, as simple as possible so that anyone can just watch it and replicate it. Today we're going to continue working on the hatch though. We got to put the AC stuff back in. I did some restoring, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. And we're just gonna start putting the car a little bit back together. This is basically what I did to the hatch. Not my best work, but it's just foam once it's in there, if it even is able to like squish up without like, I don't know, I feel like this is gonna add too much in between like all the bolt holes. But if this works, very nice. Once it squishes, it'll squish together, so it should seal up pretty nicely. And just simply trying to add some new stuff to the car so that it's somewhat restored. Some extra that we have to remove. We got the interior a little bit cleaner. Got to pull out our heater / AC core bolts, and we're just gonna go ahead and start mounting up our blowers or whatever those things are called. We ran into our first issue. In order to install this, we have to have all the lines sorted in the back. So looks like this side isn't going to be put on. I think it's okay since I only needed that one in order to install the hoses that I need to install on the outside. No biggie. Oh, it actually came with it. Nice. I thought it wasn't going to come with the clamps since the hybrid racing ones didn't come with it. Heater hoses. But because the hybrid racing radiator coolant hoses didn't come with any clamps, I had to buy some from hybrid racing. So one thing I will have to figure out, this little contraption right here. This kind of controls, I guess, the water or the coolant. You have to put this on the Ktuned hoses over there. I kind of wasted a bit of time, but I ended up swapping out the bolts from the mounts. I had those on the bottom and I swapped them out. So that took a bit of time, but officially the bolts are in the correct spots. And we're back, and we're gonna continue working on the radiator hose. Where yesterday I had previously thought about it, and then I ended up searching up AC with radiator Kswap hoses. So we're gonna continue working on this. First things first, we got to remove this little bracket. It's just 2 screws. If one of them is a bit stripped, or actually don't even do anything yet, throw WD-40 on this, let this sit for like 5 minutes, and then come and try it, because I almost stripped this one out and it was such a pain. But I ended up taking off that one, and then I started spinning around the bracket, and it made it a lot easier to take this one out. I guess it like broke all the rust off. So little tip. I've been messing around with this hose a little bit along with whatever this thing is, and picking this thing up off Harbor Freight. It cuts, I mean, decent. Obviously it's not the straightest thing ever, but very easy to cut with. So if you want to pick it up, it's just 12-inch power snips. Doing some measuring, I did cut off a little bit of this side because the angle that we were getting at first, it was like this, which that would have not worked. And cutting this ended up shortening the distance from the firewall to this curve, and then the little line that sticks out in the engine bay. And we got it to be somewhere right here. I actually kind of, if you see that Sharpie mark, that's kind of where this thing is going to sit in the middle. And if you look at it through the top, that looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half, and then we'll start measuring again. And that's pretty much the process for this. Not the straightest thing ever, but very easy to cut. So now comes the fun part. We stick this onto one side, stick this onto the other side, and we start playing around with this inside the engine bay. So after like about 3 times cutting, we finally got it to a good spot, where I mean, this is pretty much like as far as it could go without actually pulling, just without having like too much tension to where it doesn't push all the way out. So I think that should be good enough for now. We'll end up zip tying it right here, and so we could try to get as tight of a fit so that this wire, it doesn't end up moving and it's just this. If you're following along, make sure to pay attention to the line. Try to keep it from bending. I think mine is bent just because it was sitting around. So try to keep it as straight as possible so that it could, you know, slide in and out easily. And also the lever, the way that I have that part installed, it's backwards. The lever should be going up and back, instead of how I have it, and it goes like down. Which I think the way that I have it, the arrow is facing the engine. It should be facing the firewall. So just pay attention to that. Gotta work on the other side. So for this one, same thing, just measure it and cut. Got both lines cut to where I feel comfortable. This is my first time trying anything like this, so I don't even know if this is actually gonna work once it's all strapped down. So I'm gonna leave it like this. Go ahead and do the other line or the other hose, but that one is just gonna be cut to fit perfectly since we now have this in the way. There's the finished product. Pretty happy with how it came out. One thing I will say is don't cut too much, guys. This hose, I kind of cut too much to where I'm like right at the edge. So hopefully this doesn't leak. It shouldn't. And if it does, well then, oh well, I gotta buy another hose. But for now, very happy with how this turned out. Went ahead and fixed it. You can see the arrow is pointing that way. This little lever is on top now. And I don't know, this is where I'm starting to think that I maybe did cut it too short. But then again, I really can't push the wire in from outside. It has to be through like the little lever inside. So maybe, you know, pulling it from inside will actually pull it all the way back. But I will not know until the interior is back together. And until then, it'll be a lot easier to just swap out the hoses. But for now, it's all on, it's properly installed. I had too small of a zip tie to strap this as close as possible to the hose. You basically have to strap it onto the hose so that it keeps it planted while it's pulling on this wire, because without it, if you try to pull it, it runs the risk of just falling off. So make sure to strap it on with a zip tie. That's it for the video. Overall, satisfied with how everything is going. Once I do get the K24 and I'm starting to, like, you know, trying to finish everything up, start trying to work towards getting the car barred, I'm gonna redo the hoses. I'm not satisfied completely with them, or at least I don't think it's as nice as I'd like it to be. So I'm kind of brainstorming some ideas of how to better align the Ktuned logos, because even that's bugging me, the length of everything. So I'm gonna redo it in the future, but for now, it's good enough. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for the wiring video. God bless.